Hey everyone, welcome to your little mini Tuesday Tea episode with just me, Alisha Bowker Mudrock. This month we're going to be diving into the topic of love as it is Valentine's Day, but I don't want it to be just another cliche like love talk or topic in a way that feels unattainable, doesn't meet you where you're at, or feels almost impossible to achieve. So as you know, I've sort of been channeling this mantra of the year of you for 2025. And really what that's about is stepping up and showing up for yourself and really putting yourself on that to-do list. My goal would be that you're first on your to-do list, but if we can't get there yet, at least you're on it, right? And everything that we're doing is funneling through what do I need, where am I at, what's gonna set me up to be the best me to help everyone else in my life, whether that's as a parent, as a partner, as a sibling or daughter or son, or a coworker, etc. So as we're just kind of thinking of this topic of the year of you and self-love, it kind of brings me into this idea of how it's more of this daily practice, not just simply a buzzword. So self-love isn't like, I feel like I'm just great every day and I think I'm awesome and I love how I look and feel all the time, because that's not true. We're going to have different experiences and different feelings about ourselves many times throughout one day, let alone each and every day and each and every season that we're in. So really it's more of this daily practice in the form of how can I show up for myself in these concrete anchor ways every day, even if I feel like a piece of shit and I hate myself, or even if I'm obsessed and I'm in my best like thriving era, how can I still show up and show myself love? And I think those can look like really simple things. We try to make this too complicated, but it's really simple things. It's nourishing my body well. It's getting enough rest. It's enjoying a good beverage that I really like for the day, whether that's some water, coffee, tea, etc. It is setting healthy boundaries, not burning myself out, saying no, and only saying yes when I really mean it. It is investing time into relationships that make me feel good. It is moving my body or spending energy into hobbies or outlets that fill me up and make me feel full. Now, those are a lot of options. It doesn't have to be all of those things. I would say just to start, what are the 3 things? Maybe you're already doing them, but doing them more intentionally. What are the 3 things you can do every single day for yourself, and you're declaring that as your gift of love for yourself for the day? So perhaps it is some form of like movement or getting outside. Maybe it's just drinking at least like your 2 big, Yetis or Stanleys of water. And it's saying I love you or talking to someone that you love at least for 3 minutes for the day. That is your self-love. Now, getting to like self-worth, self-esteem, how we feel about ourselves, that's a whole different time and conversation. But self-love is really this practice of showing up even when it feels hard, even when I don't feel as connected, but continuing to do that for myself. Something for me that I have found is a gift that I keep giving myself over the years is this practice of Pilates. So as you know, I've just gotten mat certified. I have been a student of Pilates since 2012 and always learning something new. But I will say that there's probably been very few weeks since 2012 till now that I haven't done Pilates in some way, shape, or form. I'm not always in a studio. I'm not always on the reformer. I'm not always with a teacher. I'm not always in person. But I have made it a priority to make sure that I move my body with the Pilates practice every week, at least, for all these years. Even when I don't totally feel like it, even when it's a big investment financially or otherwise, but I do it because it is my act of self-love for myself. When I'm not moving, I know during COVID, I think there was a period when I kind of stopped because, we couldn't go anywhere, and videos of Pilates and now that wasn't as popular as it is now from like instructors I really liked. But then a lot of my old instructors all over the country started doing these live classes. So I got back on and I was like, oh gosh, my body was feeling it when I hadn't done it. Like for that bit of time I had taken off while we were kind of like figuring out what's going on in the world, I could feel it in my body that I had not been taking care of myself in that way. And so now it's a non-negotiable. It's something I will sign up for myself, whether I do it on my mat at home or I go to a class or whatever else. It's something that I will always get out and do, because for me, that is my self-love. Another is trying to drink water. I carry around a big Stanley cup all day, almost every day, and I'm always trying to also hydrate. I still don't think I do it enough. I think does anyone, but that's a very small, subtle thing, but I intentionally think about, like, I need to give this to myself. It's good for your skin, it's good for your organs, it's good for your whole body, but it's something that I really think about and show up for myself and do. So I want you to take a moment here and think, what can be your 1 to 3 acts of self-love a day that you can at least commit to for February? Again, you're probably already doing some of them, but let's just call it what it is and make it more intentional. So take a minute and kind of think about what those might be for you. And then moving into just continuing to connect to this year view and to ourselves, I want to give you some more updates on kind of what I'm up to that see how these might play into something that could be helpful for you. But as I said, I am going to be starting to offer more Pilates offerings. So I'm going to start doing 3 virtual classes a month. They'll be live. They'll be vary on days and times. As I get more people signed up for the membership and coming, I'll kind of meet you guys where you're at and try to fit classes that really work for you. But for now, I've just chosen some days and times just to kind of see the attendance rate and what works for people. But you have 2 options. You can buy solo classes and just pop in, or you could invest in this very, very low priced membership where you get access to all 3 classes and you get a recording of each of those classes. So not only are you going to be building up your Pilates database to have these classes to come back to on your own time in between those lives and do ongoing, but also if you can't make it, you're still going to get the class. So even though you've paid for it, even if you couldn't make it live, you still essentially get that option of having it in your resource that you can visit ongoing. Again, there's no expiration date on it, and use as you need to. Now, the reason I am pushing more into this Pilates space, I'm going to keep bringing in my coaching. Obviously, I have my history of my background of therapy as well, but movement in your body and how you feel in your body is so foundational. A lot of times, how we feel about ourselves psychologically stems a lot from how we're feeling physically and vice versa. So I think that the entry point I'm really interested in meeting people at right now is this movement practice place, because Pilates, as we've talked about, is a mind-body class. It is not just like your other workouts where you're just in your body, you're zoning out, you're thinking about all the other things. To be really into Pilates, you are in your body and in that space and very mindful and present the whole time. I also love it because it's constantly teaching us things about ourselves. Every day I show up, something is different. I'm constantly like, oh, the left side or the right side or this balance, or I'm strong here, or that's feeling harder. What's happening there? What's that feeling? And then we're constantly recalibrating. And I think it's a metaphor for life because, again, no matter how evolved or what's the word I'm looking for? Like awakened and, like here we are, there's no pinnacle to ever fully reach. We're always going to be recalibrating, relearning, re-examining, making those little shifts, figuring out alignment all the time. I don't think anyone's like perfectly aligned and then just stays aligned for the rest of their lives. So I love this like physical practice of remembering and being in my body to feel what alignment and misalignment feels like, to find that curiosity and compassion versus judgment and harsh criticism, to feel how strong I am now compared to how I once was, to master the new move I've been working on in a new way, and like keep reaching those new levels and milestones. And this is true about life as well, right? Like life is hard, life is messy. Again, our 100% is not the same 100% every day, as we talked about a lot last month. And so if I'm learning that on the mat, on the reformer, in a class a couple times a week, then it's also this mindset that I can take to other areas of my life as well. And there's a lot of that curiosity and compassion and endurance that I love. And it's that mindset shift. And it really, not only do I get a workout and it's good for my body in lots of like physical ways and aging ways, but it mentally sets me up to tackle or to think about or to understand the rest of my day and other goals that I have. I also like it because it's so personal. I think too much we're living in this world of competition. So not only are we going to focus on self-love this month, but also like just love and compassion and acceptance of others. I'm reading Mel Robbins' new book, Let Them, and it's such a good reminder of who the fuck cares what everyone else is doing? Let them. Care about you. Focus on you. Show up and control what you can show up. Let's stop trying to micromanage and judge and criticize and try to get power over everyone else. If we stay in our lane and really focus on us and focus on how we impact the world, how we show up for ourselves, how we are doing, it then will have this like trickle down effect and it will make bigger ripples. But if I'm like a mess, but spending all my energy trying to micromanage or control or fix someone else, it's just, it's so unfulfilling and it causes more mess. Also, this like harsh judgments and pitting each other against each other and being cruel and mean, it's such a gross, unhappy way to live. And so I find even when my brain goes to those harsher judgments or whatever else, I'm trying to stop them and be like, but why? Why does it matter? Like what am I getting from that thought or even saying something like that out loud? And both about myself and about other people, right? And so I think that the more in Pilates it's about you. It's not how that person's body's showing up because I'm not in her body, I'm in mine. So it's trying to get away from this judgment place and this criticism place and coming back constantly to myself. I need to take care of myself first. I need to worry about myself first. I need to do this move for me first, not what everyone else is doing. And I don't need to judge or criticize them. Now, I will say I get a healthy dose of competition out of a class. Oh, you're holding your plank still? I can do it too. But I think it's more in that competitive encouragement and accountability versus in a negative, judgy, harsh way. The final piece I kind of want to leave us with today too is just like consider this your permission slip. This is your permission slip to show up in this February month with some ideas of self-love, with some ways to maybe get into your body and mind in a new way. Maybe it's your permission slip to try something new, to try Pilates, to sign up for one of my classes, to see what it's all about. Maybe you've been doing it forever and you do it in certain areas, but this is another level and format and instructor to try it with. So would that be something you're willing to try and give yourself? As you also know, I wrote and published my first book back in November of last year, Leading Lady Energy. And some of the core elements of that book as well are around stepping into the role that we were already born to play, not apologizing for the role, not trying to convince ourselves that it's ours, sticking to the script, except for when we need to throw it out and we need to pivot because life is giving us something else. And then really just like owning the stage and closing down the show. Everyone is going to be the leading lady or leading star of their own life. So where it's not competitive. By you being the leading lady of your life, you're not taking that away from someone else. They are still the leading person of their life. But I want us to start living like you are the leader. Like you actually are driving the bus, driving the car of your own story. Of course, we have to think about other people. Of course, there's other agendas on the table. Of course, there's things that are at tension or conflicting with that. But to be the leading lady is not to be selfish. It's actually to be rooted and confident and in charge so that you actually are a good leader and a good partner and a good whatever for everyone else in your world. If you're letting everyone make those decisions for you, you're not happy, you're not fulfilled, you're not being very authentic or showing up fully as yourself, and you're going to wake up one day and be like, who the hell am I and how did I get here? Or why am I constantly so unhappy or resentful about this person? It doesn't mean that these are like abusive or bad situations that we're giving our power away in. It's just like if every Friday you let your partner choose where you eat and he always chooses Chinese food and you low-key just like hate Chinese food, well, that's terrible. Stop eating Chinese food if you hate Chinese food. Maybe you go once in a while, but let's put your thing on the table. I want actually sushi. I actually want Mexican. I actually want something else. So this is where I think this leading lady embodiment really couples with Pilates as well. I'm going to show up. I'm going to step into my power. I'm going to constantly be trying to figure out that alignment. I'm going to be back in charge. And then in that overarching theme of that self-love, how are you showing up to show yourself that self-love? How are you giving yourself that permission slip to be in charge? How are you taking the reins? How are you looking for support when you need support? But how are you also stepping into what you know and sharing your opinion, sharing your desires, speaking out your truths? These are things that feel really scary, and especially in the age of social media and being online and people getting canceled and judged, and everyone's so quick to go to these places. And so sometimes it can feel really scary to find your voice and use it out loud for other people to hear. And you don't have to necessarily do it on a media platform, but just in your own life. What does it mean to speak up at the table amongst your own family, or to put that boundary here, or to say that thing here, or to put that dream or goal out into the universe and see what happens if you move towards it? So, saying all this to say, how are you going to show up in those 3 ways a day in February that you're going to declare are your acts of self-love for yourself, and be very consistent with them? I want you to really think about what is going to be your mind, body, empowerment, integration. I would love to invite you for it to be Pilates. Like I said, I have classes starting mid and late February, and then I'll always have 3 a month, at least for now, going on, maybe more in the future. So please feel free to sign up to join in on one of those 45-minute live Zoom classes. All you need is your mat for now. And then that third piece is how do you show up as a leading lady? In that self-love, how are you showing up as the author of your story, the leader of your life, the star of your show, whatever metaphor resonates, and really, really stepping into that power in a way to harness it for good, right? That you are showing up to live your most fulfilled life. And when you're feeling fulfilled and happy, others are getting the best version of you, and you're inspiring them to feel fulfilled and happy. And it keeps going in that trickle down. Some days it's going to feel really hard. Some days it's going to feel overwhelming. Some days we're not going to believe it. But I think if we can have these 3 pieces of I'm still very connected to myself, both physically and mentally. I still am very aware that no matter if I feel like the leading lady or not, I am in that role. This is my life. I am living it. And I'm going to keep showing up in love for myself and giving back in some way. And when we put all that together, what does it mean? What does it look like? And how does it really change things? Because this is the year of you. This is the year that you shake shit up, you dream big, you show up for yourself in a way you've never shown up before, and you really, really see what it feels like to live in that alignment and freedom and joy. And that's what I want for you. Despite what a mess of a year it's already felt like in 1 month, those are external things. I'm not saying that they're not impacting you. I'm not saying they're not hard. I'm not even trying to discount or diminish them. But they will continue to happen because the world will continue to happen. But you can choose how you show up. You can choose what voice you show up with, what platform you stand on, what goals you continue to reach for, what alignment looks like, and how you're kind of recalibrating, how you're taking care of your body, how you're taking care of your mind. Despite what's going on, you always have choice and control in those things. And so I want you to really claim that and own it. And I'm here to help partner with you, and help you show up and do that for the year. So please continue to listen. Please subscribe. Please follow. Please share. And we have some other really great guests coming on the rest of this month to talk about these other aspects of love, love of self, love of others, living with love in the world, and what that all really looks like beyond just the fluff. And I can't wait to continue this journey with you. I hope you're having a great Tuesday.